When you're working with Scratch, you will occasionally find projects that you like and you want to use as examples with students, but maybe they have spelling errors or things, or you want to just change them up a little bit. So using a remix is an option to do this. Here's a project I found. It has a misspelling in the title. It also uses maths instead of math, which is how some countries call math class. So there's a few things in here I might want to change. I'm going to show how it works. You get prompted for a question and you type in an answer, hit enter. You get some feedback. And after a while you get a correct score if you got the answer correct. I'm going to just show 3 of the problems here. This one's quite a bit more complicated, so I'm going to put in a wrong answer. You get sorry, and you get feedback about what the correct answer is. So if I want to use this but tweak it a little bit, I can click on the remix button. And this will take me inside the project. It shows it's saved as a remix. And now I can make changes on it and have it as one of my projects. I'm going to fix the word addition. I'm going to take the S off of maths in the title. And I'm going to look through. This shows a way to set up a quiz, how it was set up. And this is kind of a nice one to use with students to show them how the code works, and they can change it to make it their own if they want to. So the score starts at 0. A question is asked. If the answer is, and this is one of the input blocks, so this is what prompts the little bar at the bottom where you can type in the answers. And if the answer is 30, which is correct, you get well done for 5 seconds, and the score is changed by 1. So it gradually increases. If it's wrong, sorry, the answer is, it tells what the answer is for 5 seconds, and then it goes on to the next question. Now, 5 seconds seemed to be a long time for that to show. So one thing I might do with this, if I'm making it more of my own, is I might click here and change the 5 to a 2. I'm going to do that for a few of these here. Just go in, click, change it to 2. Then as we get down here, you notice the questions got harder quickly. This might be a little more challenging for some of the students that you might want to use this quiz for. So you might want to go in and change some of these questions to make them a little bit easier. To do that, again, you just go in to the area where you can change the answer, the question, and I'm going to type in 12 plus 12. Then I've got to change the answer. I'm going to change the number of seconds again. And then the feedback, I've got to put the correct answer in the feedback area too. Now I'm going to run this again to see if things are working the way I want them to. So get the question. That was a nice amount of time. I could even change it to 1 second if I wanted to. So this is working just fine. I could continue and go through and change other questions. I could also change this entirely. Instead of having a math one, I could have maybe something about the states or something, because I can type in anything in the ask field. I could type in a question like, what is the capital of Iowa? And then I could have the answer, and it could check the answer. One thing about this, though, is the answer has to be typed correctly. So if there's a misspelling in the answer, it won't understand that. But this would be kind of fun to have your students set up their own quizzes. They could change it to subtraction, multiplication, or division. Then when you are done with your remix, go back to the project page, and you can give some information on here. It already tells you what project this was based off of. But you can say, if you used anything else in this, you can say what changes you made. The idea of doing a remix is to make sure that you are making changes and not just getting somebody's project and using it. I can also take remix off of here if I want to, but a lot of times I like to leave that in when I do a remix. Now I'm going to show you another type of remix that you might want to do. This is music video, and this one tells you to push the green flag to start the music video. The space bar resets the dancers to their original positions. Remix this by changing the costumes, background, sprites, or by adding your own music. So this one is kind of a good one to use with students to help them get the idea of how to add and change and work on some of the skills here. I'm just going to click the green flag.
Hey.
And I'm going to pick remix. There's just a couple things that I'm going to change in this one. I'm going to add a sprite, add another dancer in here. So I'm going to go choose a sprite. And I'm going to pick Cassie Dance. And I'm going to move her, I could resize her to be the same size as the others, but I'm going to put her in the kind of in the background here. Now, I could go in and build a script for her to look just like one of the other characters, but I'm going to copy the script. So I'm going to take the one from Jovia, and I'm going to click, drag, and drop it on top of Cassie. Now Cassie has a script, just like the other dancers, but when I push the green flag, she's not doing anything. That's because the script that I copied was based on the costumes for the other dancer. But it's very easy to go in and do this because now that I have Cassie here, one of the options is her costumes. Oops, I got to get on Cassie. So I click on this and it shows that Cassie has 4 different costumes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and just pick in order the different costumes. I could also pull out some of these so she's not doing 2 costume switches right away, because if you don't have a weight in there, it's going to be a little hard to see that. So I guess, but I could go back in and do that later. I'm just going to go through and change costumes. And I could do this in any order if I want to. It doesn't have to all go in the same. Almost done. Okay, now when I click the green flag, they should all dance.
Hey.
Again, I could make other changes like changing the music. scroll up here, I'll go back to the first sprite here, scroll over a little bit, and this is where the sound part is. So when you click the green flag, it's doing the dance celebrate. You could go into sounds and pick a different sound if you wanted to. I can also go into backdrops and change the backdrop. The beach backdrop. And I could make other changes. I could get rid of one of these dancers if I wanted to. I could add another dancer. Then when I've made all my changes, I can go back into the project page. I could add more information if I had something different that I was having the sprites do, and then I could add information about what I had changed in the project, which I think is kind of interesting. You notice right now it's not shared, so right now this is a remix that only I can see. I would have to share it before letting other people see it. So as you're working through Scratch, you will find in a link listed below this video for a Remix Studio, and you can go and look at the Remix Studio and pick other Scratch projects that you might want to remix.